Welcome to Be Insightful in Technology, brought to you by the Be Insightful community. In this podcast, we will bring together people in the technology realm from various different backgrounds to share their experiences while also providing you knowledge, wisdom, and understanding so you can do it too. Technology is the new wave when it comes to careers, so it's best to keep up and continue learning on what positions, technologies, and lifestyles are available and being created so you can continue to scale up. Being insightful in technology is for listeners who aren't afraid to take chances. There's so much you can do. So go ahead and subscribe to our podcast so you can gain that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to be insightful in technology. Hey everyone, welcome to the Be Insightful in Technology podcast. And today we have a very special guest. I've been to school with him. He was there in my RCA Career Academy pathway, even had dual enrollment with them. So it's kind of like we go back, but there's a lot more to discuss here today. So go ahead and introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you do? And where can the people find you? Go ahead and let that out.
Hey guys, I'm Mario Welch. I'm a service desk analyst slash network admin in training. I also do photography on the side. So if you want some professional headshots, like just hit me up. Um, this you can find me on Instagram, Rio Adult. That's my Instagram name right there. Because some people call me Rio. It's my nickname. But you can find me on LinkedIn also, Mario Welch, and it should my picture should be on there.
Yeah, go ahead and check all of that out. I've definitely seen all the pictures and I need to get in line for them. I definitely do.
I'm through.
So I want to go over a little bit today of kind of inspiring the youth. That's kind of where this podcast is going to head for, is anybody who is looking to get into technology or those who are already in it and want to see what's really out there. Because there have been people that are in their fields or they didn't know what they had access to.
Mm-hmm.
So this podcast is meant to, bring insight to everything that you don't know that's out there. So
Definitely.
Let's go ahead and get into the first little setup. So how did you find your passion and what inspires you? Go ahead and describe your journey.
Gotcha. The passion for computers and my love for networking really came from my grandfather. He installed that into me when I was young. We just shared that bond of love for computers. He was there when I built my first computer, asking for help. Like I stayed up late at night building that computer, and I woke him out of sleep and like, hey, can you help me install Windows and stuff like that? He helped me get like a cracked Windows license and everything too. So I'm like, hey, I really appreciate that, man, because he really taught me a lot. Also, I mean, I just love like new technology, I'm always looking at like the new Apple keynotes, Samsung keynotes and stuff like that. So, I mean, just the love and passion for technology is like really where it came from and stuff like that. And also I just like problem solving. So like you put a problem in front of me, I'm gonna probably figure it out, and I will stay there all day until I figure out an answer for you.
It has to get done. It has to get solved.
Definitely.
And that's pretty cool that you said that your grandfather inspired you to do this. Like from what I've heard from a lot of people around me, it's always their family members that are inspiring them to do something. So your close inner circle always can help you find your passion or build that in you or help you build upon something. So building your first computer, what was that like?
It was difficult because I mean because he worked in like a warehouse and they just get like random stuff in sometimes from like other companies, and he just had like a random like tower and it was like half built and it had like an i3 processor in it and everything, had like 8 gigs of RAM, but all I had to really do was just like put like a power supply in it and just really just turn it on and just see what needed to be done to it. It was still missing a couple of things, but I eventually built it. It's still at my parents' house. They're still using it.
Oh, you still have it.
Yeah. They're still using it actually. But I built like my actual real like first like gaming PC like a year ago, and that it was easy because like when we were in Mr. Field's class, the first day we had to put together our computer, so it wasn't that difficult.
Oh yeah, a little history on that. there's this pathway at RCA that was called, it was either IT, Cisco, computer networking, whichever way you wanted to call it,
Mm-hmm.
network system and support was like the name.
Yeah,
But took that pathway there, and there was a plethora of things that was offered. And honestly, if I could go back to that teacher and just say, like, you really helped me and that's helped me find my way, I would. Like, gotta find somewhere.
exactly. He's not there anymore. Did you know that?
Yes, so there's another person there. So
Mm,
I was there when he left.
okay,
So the new teacher there,
cool, cool.
yeah. So what age did you start at, and how old are you now?
Right now I'm 22, but I would say I, like my love for, well, I mean, I've always like loved like playing on the computer, computer games, you were little and stuff like that. But actually like working on computers and like my love for technology, I'd probably say it started around like 10, to be honest. Cause like I said, I just spent a lot of time with my grandfather. We just talk about like the latest stuff, like, oh, the new Windows is coming out. I'm like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. Like he would literally like have like when Windows 8 first came out, like he had like the pre-built, like before it was even called Windows 8 installed on his computer for testing. I was like, wow. It was just like it amazed me.
You had that premium access to everything.
Oh yeah, he did. I was like, cool. Like, hey, thank you.
That's amazing. Like, that is honestly wonderful to have that. So do you consider him as one of your role models when you lead into the field of technology?
Yeah, he's definitely one of my role models. Unfortunately, he's not with us anymore right now. He did pass away in July of 2019. I Right now I'm just trying to continue that legacy on, that he set for me, that pathway he set for me, because like he went to college for like computer engineering, but he like never finished his degree because like, back then, he was short of money. He didn't have enough money to even like pay for college and stuff like that. So right now I'm just trying to finish out this degree for him and like just continue this pathway that he set for me.
All right. Well, may he rest in peace and you continue that legacy because that's amazing. That is
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
amazing. No problem. Let's see. So during that whole time being 10 and being interested in computers and wanting to build your first thing, like your first computer, in all honesty, because I think that is pretty amazing. I
Mhm.
didn't even want to, I'm one of those people that don't like to break nothing. Like
Oh yeah.
a lot of stuff is break fix in the IT world, and you just
Mhm.
kind of you got to be able to put it back together. If you know how to, in the store, they'd be like, you break it, you buy it. So
Yep.
in IT, it's
That's
always you break it, you fix it. Like you got to get it
hmm
together.
every
So
time.
going from that mindset, being younger, did you ever think that you would want to find a career in it, or it just be just for fun? Because some people don't like to connect that just for fun aspect to their career and make it their whole life.
I mean, I because before I even found out like how much money we could even make in this field, like I said, I had an interest in like, because I really kind of just wanted to be like a hacker. When you're young, you watch the movies and stuff like that. You see all these people hacking and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, I kind of want to do that right there. Maybe work for the government. And I didn't really know there was like ethical hacking jobs and stuff out there like that. But yeah, I mean, because I'm really just like using this like as a tool to give me like financial freedom, to be honest, because that's the goal, to be financially free and just do whatever you want. But I probably would still work a normal 9 to 5 until I'm like 60, no matter like how much money I have, because I really do like love networking and computers and stuff like that.
Doing what you love won't ever feel like work. So
Exactly.
definitely. And you touched on financial freedom. That's one of
Hmm.
the things I want to be able to express on here as well, because being in technology, you can make a lot because technology is ruling everything at this point. You
Yeah.
just have to find what works for you.
Hmm.
So people always can say, like, if you start at the bottom, you're not gonna make that much. But I mean, you at the bottom, you gotta there. That means there's always room to grow. You continue progressing up.
Hmm.
So that right there I want to touch on a later podcast. That we're gonna have to
Gotcha.
do another one on that. We're gonna
Oh
have
yeah, definitely, definitely have me in that one too because I want to talk about that.
to. So yeah, we'll definitely do another episode on financial freedom and
Okay,
having it we can gear towards like what can help you get there. Because Be Insightful in Technology is going to be a large platform. And Be Insightful community, we're here to bring everybody together. So
definitely.
building that, definitely gonna have you be a returning guest.
Gotcha. Definitely. Hey, I'm be glad to be on too.
Thank you, and glad you're here. There
Mm.
is next section. We're gonna roll into like the next part. It's gonna be what are your thoughts, comments, and concerns on the field now? Like, what do you feel like you're currently seeing that you want to just speak on?
I'm pretty sure everybody talks about this in this field. It's degrees versus certifications. To me, right now, I would really am leaning more towards certifications because like that training and experience that you're looking for, you get that in certs. With college degrees, I mean, they do a couple of labs and stuff like that a little bit on the hands-on experience and stuff, you know. But like other than that, like this degree is really like only like help negotiate pay. The certs really give you that experience and stuff, and you could get an internship while you're in college too. But I mean, some of these interns they barely like let you do anything unless you get like a really good internship where they like let you like dive in hands on and stuff like that. But other than that, like I said, degree is really just for negotiating pay, in my opinion. Now, I'm not knocking degrees. Like always try to like extend your education, definitely, but definitely try to get certs while you're in college, because that's like I said, that's what me and Shy have been doing like this whole time, getting certifications while we're in college.
Yeah, like going through right after high school, I was going through kind of like a job search. I had
Hmm.
an internship right after high school, but I was so hard headed. I need to create like a episode for myself on my journey, but I was kind of so hard headed that I solely wanted to focus on networking. If it wasn't networking, I wasn't doing it.
Hmm.
So going into that mindset, because I was already looking at places where it's like, who's going to accept me for what I have? Because upon graduating high school, I had a bunch of certs, like a bunch of certifications.
Oh yeah,
And then I was already heading for my associate's degree. I got that literally like a month or two after high school. So having all of that and then trying to jump into the job field, and it's like without experience, it's nothing.
and
Without experience, it is not anything.
they're not going to talk to
So
you.
right. So what would you say has been your job hunt experience been like with the certifications and going to school? What have you feel like it's been like for you?
It was kind of rough. Like because when I first started looking for jobs, I wasn't really looking for jobs like right after high school until like okay, like maybe probably like my second semester of college. That's when I got like my first like I guess like help desk job. I work for Geek Squad. Basic, simple. A+. But after that, I was trying to look for an internship because I didn't want to be at Geek Squad like forever. And that was rough. Like nobody was really like looking at me, even with all my certifications and stuff like that. It was rough finding an internship or even a job and stuff like that. Um, the new job I'm at now, they even said like we're really only considering people, kind of like with certifications. Like even if you have a degree, they'll hire you, but you're going to start at help desk. Like just get that out of your mind. Like if you're going into this field, you're going to start at a help desk job, like Geek Squad, service desk, or anything like that. So just keep that in mind.
Like that's so true. That is so
Yeah,
true. Being in help desk is just inevitable, is what
yeah,
people say. Unless you know somebody. Like unless you know somebody that can hook you up with something. It's
yeah.
always about who you know at this point if you want something outside of the beginning position. Like it
Hmm.
really is. So
Definitely.
that's just the truth. And
Yeah.
you mentioned the A+, and for those who don't know, the A+ is a CompTIA certification that is like fundamentals on hardware and software. So is it still the two-part exam?
Yeah, it's still two parts, far as I know. Um, yeah, yeah, it's still two parts.
So yeah, the two-part exam is like hardware and then it's like software, I think. See, I never got the other half of my A plus. I
I
took
never got
one
that.
part and I never took the other because it was just like
Fun
I
fact,
wasn't.
same here, and I still got the job at Geek Squad. Like I just really tell people I have the A plus. And it's like okay, like because like once you get in, you're in. Like they don't really care about the A
Mhm.
plus anymore.
Right? Because there's we're gonna have to do a lot of further digging, but for certifications, there are going to be bottom to top certifications like let me say it, novice to advanced and completely professional. That is kind of like a good track to look at. So when we talk about certifications being a little bit more like weight, they have a little bit more weight than degrees is
Mm,
because they're on a more technical track. So they bring those skills to you. So they put everything that kind of is industry level, what you'll
mm,
need to know for the job. Because people always say like when you get on the job, they're gonna train you. That's how you're gonna
yeah,
know. So
and that's what
there
they're
are
doing now with me.
yeah. So there's always fundamental stuff you need to know before you go in. Like when you go to a job for technology and you don't know what an IP address is, they're gonna look at you crazy unless they're willing to sit here and explain every little thing to you. And most employers, they'll be like, okay, if I have to do that, I might as well hire someone overseas or something that already know
Mm,
this because I there's gonna be less time on my hands, less I gotta pay you and whatever. So
exactly.
definitely check out that. There'll be more information. I'll try to get more information out on that as well because certification route to me is definitely weight heavy.
Yeah,
It's really like more important. Degrees are fine. Like he said when he was like negotiating pay for is really the reason. It
exactly.
it really is because it gives them HR reps don't know what technology professionals do. So
At all.
by kind of like a generational standpoint, it's always been if you have this amount of education, we can give you more money.
Hmm.
So that's what they kind of judge it by. They don't know about it yet. I feel like they're doing better with putting IT professionals in HR roles, but that's slowly but surely, and you can't depend on it.
Exactly.
So,
Cause like I tell like my coworkers this all the time. Like we could like know the same thing, have the same certs and skill set, but if I have a degree and you don't, they're gonna pay me more. Like it
mhm,
that's just the name of the game. They are gonna pay me more just for that degree.
yeah. And honestly, I don't, being a person that has gone through both paths, like if they want to pay me more because I have a degree, I got that degree so I can get paid more.
Mhm.
So I can't sit here and say it's worthy to get mad over someone for having that because they went through that process so they can get to that point.
Yeah,
It's just like, are you going to sit and be complacent about it or are you going to get yours too? Or, you're going to work your way up to the top and so hope they see your value. So
you're right.
it's kind of like a up to you thing that you got to look at. There's going to be a lot of competition because once you're in there, you're kind of, I wouldn't say you're competing with your coworkers, but at a point, if you want to get to a position and both you guys are applying for it, you're competing with them and they're going to
You are.
take that into account. They're always going to take that into account.
Definitely.
So saying it now, the degree versus certification. When you go to a job interview, do you offset like they look at your resume and they're just like, okay, you've done this, 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 and this, but you have this and you're missing this. Do you sit here? How do you convince them that you're that person for the job?
I normally just set it out to them like, look, like this is what I can do, this is what I've done, this is what I have experienced and stuff like that. I mean, to be honest, like they want me because there are other companies out there that like not be cocky or anything that want me. So I mean, if you don't want me, I can definitely go somewhere else. But I mean, there's really like no conviction that you can really do. I mean, you really just like have to like just tell them like what you can do and what you can't do, and they accept you. They accept you. I mean, it is what it is.
See, what you said is about like this is what you've done. A lot of people are afraid to speak up in interviews. Like
Hmm.
interviews are supposed to be conversational wise. If it doesn't feel like a conversation, then
Yeah,
the job is not for you. A
yeah.
lot of I've been told this by a lot of interviewers. They want someone that will fit in where they're at. Like they want
Hmm.
someone who will fit in with a group of people that are at that job. If if the interview doesn't feel like a conversation, doesn't feel natural, it's not going to be the best option for you.
At
If
all.
you
Yeah, because every interview I've done, it has always been a conversation. Like, because we get off the wall and like talk about like other topics. Like we really like he really just like ignores the questions and just like talk about something else. And I guess that's how I really like get the job with certain companies because I just make it into a normal conversation with them, and they like that.
they really do. They're people too, is what everybody has to understand. Like the person interviewing you is a person too. Like
Hmm.
I've listened to my managers interview others, and me being interviewed myself, it's just like they want it to feel as natural as possible. They want
Hmm.
their nerves to go away, like your
Yeah,
nerves should go away. So definitely
definitely,
try to be as calm as possible going into an interview, and don't be afraid to, upsell yourself a little bit because the whole
definitely.
process of the interview is, selling yourself. I hate that term, but it
But
is.
it is true though. Like you are really selling yourself to these companies.
So you have to, if they shoot you down on, like, if you're in the middle of a conversation with, your interviewer, and they say that, you know, they don't feel like you could do a certain thing, then you
Hmm.
have to combat it with what you have done. Like Mario said, what you've done and how it can be applied to what they're asking for.
Hmm.
So it's good that you did this for that company, but what can you do for me is always going to be the question.
Yeah, because like I said, the company I'm at with now, like I was really interviewing for the network admin position, but like I said, I didn't have no experience, like with being the network admin. But I told them what I did have experience with and stuff like that. They were like, "Oh wow, like you're really far ahead of the game, more than like people that have degrees with no certification stuff like that." But they were like, "Okay, cool. How about this? We're gonna put you at this service desk job, and then in 90 days we're gonna reevaluate you. If you get your CCNA and stuff like that, like we'll just promote you to like junior network admin or stuff like that." So hey, I'm like I said, these companies, if you just tell them like what you can do, like you said, what you can't do, they will work with you. They will.
Mhm. And in all honesty, with tech jobs being so rare, and there are a lot more popping up than can be filled. So let a company know everything that you bring to the table. Like,
Hmm.
don't be afraid to do that. Let them know that, hey, I have all this. This is some stuff I need to work on.
Hmm. Yeah,
Y'all gonna help me
that's
out.
exactly. That's exactly what I told them. I was like, I haven't touched like Cisco routers and switches since I was in high school. They were like, "Oh, that's fine." They were surprised I knew what that was.
Mm, so any little bit experience, like you gotta let it shine through. Like you have to.
Mhm.
Getting your honestly any hands-on experience that you've had, they need to know. They just need to
Yep.
know because it's just
Hmm.
like with a lot of stuff, it's like once you learn it, you never really forget it. But at the same time, it's gonna be enforced more when you get on the job.
Yeah, it
Like
is.
it's definitely gonna be enforced more. So
Definitely.
that's it. Um, Let me say this. What do you feel like needs to change in the field? Or in other words, what do you feel like you should what would you have told your younger self about what you know now in the field? Like going in, looking for jobs, speaking on experience. What would you have told your younger self?
What would I have told my younger self? I would have told my younger self to invest in the Bitcoin. I'm just kidding. I mean, probably really nothing different because, like I said, like I really already did, basically what I needed to done. when I was in high school, like get those certifications, I would probably gotten more. Like definitely would have got the Network Plus and CCNA while I was in high school because you got those, and that's amazing. Like because in high school that was kind of like a really tough to grasp, but like now it's just like okay, like I'm doing this for my job now. It's pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like I said, definitely get more certs. Do enrollment in high school. If your high school offers dual enrollment, do that so you can get these core classes out the way. I'm telling you, because they're just a pain. Because I already told Shy before this, but just get the core classes out the way because I'm tired of it. Definitely.
It's a process. It is a process because honestly, when he touched on the certifications like the Network Plus and CCNA, Network Plus is another CompTIA cert, is one of their upper, I would say they're intermediary certs because they do have like the IT fundamentals, which is really like getting you in there. So the Network Plus
It's
is focused. Oh, go ahead.
yeah. The funny thing is they still consider that entry level though, Network Plus.
I feel like Network Plus is entry level, and I feel
Yeah.
like you go for a CCNA, it's like a little intermediary,
hmm Yeah.
but it's still entry level because they'll give you an entry level job.
Yeah.
Well, you
Like even exactly. Like if you have a CCNA, you're probably looking at like junior network admin right now.
hmm like I was trying to get over to being a network admin or like starting out, but it was just so hard because they're
hmm
just like, we need somebody that has worked in production with this stuff. And it's just like, if I can't get the job, how am I gonna work in production with this stuff? So
Exactly. Like you
you just
really have
gotta,
to find a good service desk job that will let you get hands on like experience like what would you like what would you really want to do? Because like I
Mhm.
said, I'm my job title may be like help desk service desk, but I am playing around with like Cisco routers and switches every day. Like there's this like new system that's called Meraki. Have you heard of Meraki?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
like I didn't even know anything about it, but it's just like the interface for Meraki is just so simple, like anybody can use it. So no more going to Cisco iOS, manually configuring routers and switches. Like Cisco Meraki is the future. And I like I said, I didn't even know about that, but still learned the fundamentals of like Cisco CCNA.
'Cause learning those fundamentals and having a concrete understanding of them
Mm-hmm.
will get you pretty much anywhere. Like, the
Definitely.
OSI model.
Yep.
What is it? Open Systems Interconnect Modeler.
Yeah.
I know the
Yeah.
model itself.
Yeah. I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about. I don't know if the
Yeah.
people on the podcast are gonna know, but
Like that right there, there's gonna be, I'm gonna try to have more course like structure. Like this is right coming informally. We're talking about your experience, but there'll be course like structure soon, but it'll be on like YouTube.
mm,
So for knowing your fundamentals, the OSI model, go look it up. Like I
yeah.
promise you, you'll see that model and you'll just be like, this is where a lot of people start. This is one of the first things they teach you in like the A plus or IT fundamentals, like the OSI model,
Yep.
learning that from top to bottom. Like it
hmm
has 7 layers, and I promise you, if you go just Google search, that'll be like the challenge for today. Google search the OSI model.
Yeah, because that definitely is like the fundamental like of everything as far as doing like computer networking and systems and stuff like that. Like literally the base.
Yes, and honestly, every position, if you look at like the model itself and each attribute of it, there's a position at every level. Like
Yep.
if there's a
Every
job
level.
at every level.
hmm
So understanding that, you can pretty much kind of talk yourself into any position.
You
Like
can
as long as you build
definitely.
your knowledge in that. So there'll be more information on that later on. Like this is just giving me a lot of ideas to run through. So definitely got to look at that. And what else? So your future self, what do you feel like you're going to be? Like this is kind of like random, but
hmm
in 5 to 10 years, we'll give it that because you're 22 now. you'll be about like, 32 in like 10 years. Where do you
Mm,
feel like you're gonna be? Because in this field, I feel like you can move up quickly. If you never stop learning and you're always having that drive to move, you're gonna move up quickly in technology.
definitely.
Just are, as long as you don't give up on your mission. But where do
Mm.
you feel like you're gonna be?
Where do I feel like I'm gonna be? Well, like I said, I do want to be financially free, like by the time I'm like 30. But like I said, I still want to be able to work that 9 to 5 if I have to. I actually want to get into contract work eventually. So like working like 6 months for a company, like fixing their network or setting up their network and maintaining it, stuff like that. And then like the other 6 months, just like relaxing, building my photography business up or anything I want to do. But I think contract work is definitely going to be like the future because
I'm glad you
like
mentioned that.
yeah, 'cause like I said, like you can literally like only work for like 6 months and make like at least 100K, at least
Right? Because you,
if you do it right.
yeah, if you do it right, you can't be out here messing up people's stuff. But if you
Mm,
do it right and set your price, honestly, like contract work is technically what I'm trying to get into now. I
mm,
just have to go ahead and get my business license because I want it to be under myself, like, well,
mm,
under my business. So that way I can tack on all this stuff to the Be
mm.
Insightful community and show like
Yes.
there's going to be case studies projects and this is going to be a large platform for me. And I want to spread this everywhere. So yeah,
Mm,
contract work is definitely something to look at for people that are not in the field currently and are looking to get in. Look at staffing agencies. They're pretty good at bringing you in and training you. They have the patience and the team to train you.
they
So
do.
that's how, like, I got my foot in the door by word of mouth with the internships. But as an actual job, I went through a staffing agency.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that I went through was tech systems.
Texas.
So
Okay.
yes, tech systems. I did have a job through Robert Half, but I didn't get to go because I chose tech systems over them. But they have really good opportunities in the technology field. Like I honestly, if you're looking to get a start and you've studied, you've went over stuff, you've done labs, like you feel like you have a fundamental knowledge of technology, go hop onto like the a staffing agency's like website, look at what they have because they have one. People always think like, oh, staffing agencies are like for warehouse jobs. It's temp work. Like they do have temp work, but
Mhm.
that's a good way to get experience. And I honestly thought about going back to
Really,
like temp work because I like flexibility. I like the
definitely.
constant experience. But I also found another platform through one of my coworkers. He told me about Field Nation.
Field.
And Field
I've heard of
Nation,
Field Nation.
yes. So Field Nation is where pick a job. If they approve you, you can go do that. And it's like for a few days or a few hours, like
Hmm.
you get paid. Like,
Yeah.
so that
Hmm.
right there, that's in process. Like, I definitely want people to know about these things. Like, if you want to freelance your skills, like Upwork, Fiverr, Field Nation for one, because, it has jobs already lined up. You apply,
Hmm.
you put yourself in there, you're good.
Yep.
So definitely check out those things if you're interested. Because if you're at that edge where you like, I studied enough, I've got my certifications, I have something on my belt, but you still can't get your foot in the door. These are easier. These are the easier ways to go.
Hmm.
Yeah, those are the easier ways to go. There are more complex where you're just solely applying to companies and they're just like,
Like me. Like literally like me, because I basically just did Geek Squad, and then now like I'm at my new job right now, help desk, and then eventually I just want to use that to go somewhere else.
like always get in and get experience. Go to
Hmm.
these places and don't, if it's in your field, never go to your job and not learn anything.
Hmm.
Like
Never go in and just set yourself on auto mode for the day and you just do what they tell you and you're just like, okay, once work is done, I'm done.
Mhm.
Don't do that.
Yeah,
So
try to learn
I
something.
should, yes, learn something new every day is what I keep getting told by everybody above me. Like, learn something new every day. It helps. It helps. Like, but yeah, definitely check out. Yeah, the challenge for today, search the OSI model. Anything else like the goals, if you're already learning, you've already got a few certifications,
Mhm.
look at some temp agencies if you haven't got your foot in the door. Like, that's, let me say it like this. Contract companies are more likely to hire contract workers than full-time employees.
Mhm.
So, getting your foot in the door as a contractor and then turning to a full-time associate is more common than anything. The company that I'm at, that is like the most common thing. I got hired on as an associate, but everybody was telling me like, how did you get hired on an associate? I had to start as a contractor. And there's like a stigma with contractors and full-time associates, like they don't mix it. I never understood that. But going through as a contractor when companies are trying to take a chance on you is and you're trying to take a chance on them because remember, you can pick and choose. You don't always have to go to the first thing that's available. That's what I always say. Like, when you have a job, look for your dream job. Like, because
Definitely.
you feel like you have less to worry about when you already don't, when you're not like in, when you're in a job looking for a job, you have less to worry about as if you did not have it. So
Mhm.
definitely take a chance on temp agencies. I know it's a stigma being a contractor, but the only thing is you may be doing the same job as them and the full-time associate is getting paid more, but for that it is what it is. The only thing you can do is take your experience and go somewhere where they're going to pay you more for it.
Yep.
I always say experience is always going to overrule everything. If you don't have experience, you don't have nothing. So,
Definitely. Like I would definitely choose experience plus less pay than like, taking more pay doing like some basic stuff that's not gonna like teach me anything.
because you can go in a job and you can be complacent and be fine where you're at, but you can't, if you're going to be complacent, like if you're going to actively choose to be complacent, you cannot complain about people that are moving forward.
Hmm.
You
Exactly.
can't. Like, you chose to be in that one spot. So definitely step it up.
Hmm.
Like, step it up, learn every day, and keep pushing forward. If I say to a lot of people that, or when they listen to me talk about my journey, I just say to them, like, there are options out there. If you really want to do it, you're going to figure out how to do it.
Hmm.
If you don't, you're not. Like, you're not going to put in no effort to go find out how to get things done. So definitely, if you see yourself in a certain position and it's not the one that you're currently in, figure out how you're going to get in that position.
Yep.
We have access to everything. Google has everything. So
Was
when
your best friend?
it exactly, this this podcast is here, but we may not touch on everything you need us to touch on. So definitely do the research. Take the initiative. That is going to get you a lot of places.
Definitely.
Taking the initiative. Mhm. So we're gonna go on to like the next little topic here is how can others get to where you are and what tips would you like to give them?
Let's see here. I would really, like I said, I mean, we've been preaching this the whole podcast. Like, get your certs. Like, please, like, get as many as you can early as you can. Like, because like me and Shy, like in high school, I don't, because they didn't they pay for our certs like while we were like in high school.
What is it? They paid for like those Microsoft certs.
Yeah, they paid for. I think okay, I know they paid for my A plus, the Microsoft certs, but I think they'll pay for like any cert that you try to get for in high school in that class at least. I don't know what like the actual school's gonna do, but in that class, I know Mr. Fields he really like try to like push for having our certs paid for. So because we're high school students, we didn't really have that much money to be paying for $300 certifications.
Right.
But yeah, definitely get the certs, and try to get that service desk job experience early, so you won't have to, like, if you go to college and you graduate, like, so you won't have to start there, because that's what this company said. They were like, yeah, you if you have a degree, we're probably going to start you off at service desk if you don't have that experience. I'm like, wow. I'm like, okay. Even if your resume say, yeah, you can do this, all that, but you don't have like the job experience, they will start you at service desk.
Mhm. Like I'm telling you, service desk is really hard to skip over because
Hmm.
service desk brings you your fundamentals. In all honesty, when it comes to jobs, it brings you how to talk. It lets you know how to talk to people. It lets you understand like their system and how they operate.
Hmm.
So stepping into that, you just you just gonna do it. You just
Yeah,
gotta
like,
you go in and be the best. If you really want to get out of it, be the best at it, and then go. They're gonna look at you. So
yeah, like, because skipping over service desk, it will be tough unless you did like so many internships in college, or like, you don't have to go to college to do an internship, but just do internships, or like I said, the certs. But other than that, you're gonna be probably starting off at service desk. Even if you're there for just like a month or two, you're gonna be
mhm.
starting there.
Like I feel like it's a liability type of thing with the company. They
Mm,
got to make sure you know what you're doing. It's less of a risk to put you in service desk than it is to put you at a higher level position.
it
I
is.
feel like that's the case.
Exactly, because that's
Like,
why they didn't want to jump and put me at network admin, because they knew, like, okay, he knows some things but he doesn't know everything. So if we
mhm,
train him during his 90-day probation period, because that's what jobs do.
yeah.
If we train him during his 90-day probation period, he can be our network admin, and that's what they're really trying to do with me.
So, and then you touched on what was it? So there was getting your certifications, and there was, getting that technical work.
Hmm.
And before you kind of, before you step out, you can
Hmm.
get technical jobs
Yeah,
pretty early. Like you
you
can get
can.
like the service desk jobs you can get pretty early. They even
Hmm.
have jobs where you can do it working from home. Since COVID has started, I
Yes.
even worked from home majority of my position over there. I didn't start going back into the office until I got into network operations.
Mm. Wow. Okay.
So yeah, that drive is getting me though, but I like going because the experience.
Definitely,
So
like that office experience is it's unmatched, because like just being in the office and interacting with people, I like that. And even at the company I'm with now, like I said, even though I'm service desk, they're gonna like fly me out to Vegas and Miami, like to set up like some company networks. Like, I'm just like, wow. Like, if I was still at Geek Squad, like, they would never have done that for me.
right, like I'm trying to find companies that are willing to do that because I've been speaking to another one of my mentors that they get flown out everywhere. This woman was in Italy or Spain. She was
Wow.
overseas doing networking work. So it was just like companies are willing to put in the effort for their technology team as long as they have
Definitely.
a good one.
Hmm.
Like they
Yeah.
need stuff done. As long as they have a good team, they're gonna put in that effort to keep you. Like I've heard from one of my supervisors that they don't really want you to go anywhere because my team itself is so small compared to the overall operations team.
Hmm.
And since I'm in the networks operations part of it, it's so much that can happen with the network.
Definitely.
It doesn't work. Nothing works without the network. Like, let's be honest. Like, you can't
Oh,
pay for something if there's no network connection to the service to implement, like, take that payment, authorize that payment. Like, that you can't do that. If there's no connection there, nothing's going to happen. And a lot of these companies can't run off of no payments. So
they can't, because everything is about money. So gotta have
exactly.
that up and running. Definitely.
Because anybody who's looking to start companies And you realize like once you get big, your network team, invest in them. Like invest in a
Yeah,
good network team. The less you have to deal with, it's network and security, especially like those two teams, invest in them. Make sure that they are well taken care of
100%.
because they're gonna keep you up and running. They're the backbone. But
Mm-hmm.
definitely when he said about looking, taking certs, and if you're in like a classroom setting, um since we did like the career academy, that was like a technical school but for high schoolers, like how the technical colleges, they have their courses and their pathways. The career academies are essentially the same but like for high schoolers. So for us, as long as you reach out to somebody, because you can't just expect people to know what you want to do unless you tell them. That is a
Exactly.
very strong point I want to get across. Like if you want to do something, you need to speak it out into existence. You need to find the people to help you. You have to take that step.
Yeah, take that
You get
initiative
it.
definitely,
Yeah.
because if you don't, like you said, like they're not gonna know like what you want to do. And I know so many people that they want to do what I want to do, but they just didn't take that step in high school. Like
Hmm.
they wanted to play around, do cooking or be a
Hmm.
chef, which nothing's wrong with that. But I mean, like you want to make all this money, but just starting off to be a chef, like nah.
It's funny you say that because honestly, I feel like anybody can make money off of anything as long as you know how to market it. Like
That is
as long
true.
as you know how to get it out to people that are willing to put money towards it, you're gonna do it. Like you're
Yeah,
gonna
if
make
you
some
market
funds off
yourself
of it.
good,
Yeah.
have a good brand, the money will
Hmm.
come. Definitely.
It definitely will. Like you just have to have people take a chance on you, but you can't feel like anybody owes you anything.
Mhm.
Like nobody owes you anything. You have to go out there and get it yourself. Like when I tell a lot of people, because the school route is the route I took because that's where I found my stuff. Like a lot of people like you were able to learn some of it outside of school through your family.
Mhm.
My family no does not do this at all. Like they don't do this at all. I remember in like elementary school, they asked you to pick a career, and I was looking at the highest paid careers, and one of them was like computer systems manager, and that was like 100K a year. So I was just like, that right there, I want to
Mhm.
do that. So I started going through classes at school, but it was business technology where you're learning Word, you're learning PowerPoint,
Oh
and
yeah,
that's
because you
not.
went to Rockdale, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't know what I was I was just like, this doesn't feel like what I'm supposed to be doing. So when it came to that open house, was it really open house or it was like an exploration thing? We had a field trip to RCA. Like you get
It
an
actually was a field
opportunity to
trip.
go on a field trip to go to the other school, the academy, and listen to all the instructors teach about their pathway.
Mhm.
And the day I went to the IT pathway, the teacher wasn't even there. He wasn't there. But the people that were there, they explained it as best as they could. But it was the environment in the classroom, the objects in the classroom, because there was this big like rack on the other side of the classroom. And I was just like, what is that?
What is that? Yeah. Like
And there were a set of computers in the back, and it was just different wires and everything all over the place. I was just like, this classroom looks interesting.
it
Like,
was interesting.
you know, taking initiative on your interests is a whole nother thing. Like, if you find yourself interested in like one thing that you feel like can progress you somewhere, take it. Like, go ahead and look at it, research into it, do what you need to do, because now it's all I do. It's all I do. So taking that step definitely is gonna this whole podcast is really about taking that initiative.
Really. Yeah. Definitely. Because you got to.
Like being the first, this is the first episode, and it's really important to get that across. Nothing's going to work unless you take the initiative.
Definitely. Don't be scared. Just go out there. Just give it your all. Doesn't mean the worst thing some company's gonna say is just no, we don't want you. That's it. Because somebody's going to want you, definitely. So just take that first step, get the certs, get the help desk job out the way, and you will be where you want to be in the IT field, definitely.
Like, keep moving. Don't get complacent. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Like, because when I started my jobs, it was like the most amount of money I've made, because I used to work a lot of fast food jobs. So I was just like, it was fast food and retail for me. But once I stepped into like technology, it was like, this is the most money I done made. This is nice. But it's like, some people get to that point and they stop. they stop.
Yeah, exactly. Because when I got in Geek Squad, because like my first real job, like I said, wasn't I had in high school. I used to work at a skating rink. I only made $50 every weekend. $50 a weekend. I'm like, that was so humbling for me. But when I got into Geek Squad, when I got into college, I mean, I was making way more than that, and I thought I was making some real money. I've been at Geek Squad for 3 years. I still there now. I'm like a seasonal worker. Like I'll probably come in like once a month. But yeah, I've been at Geek Squad for 3 years because, like I said, I got complacent and I got too comfortable. Can't get too comfortable. Please don't get comfortable.
Because I'm gonna tell you, in technology, there's always more. Always more.
Definitely.
Like, there are so many paths, so many new things that are coming out. And speaking on new things that are coming out, if you hop on them before anybody else does, you're such a valuable commodity. Like, at that point, like, companies are gonna fight to get you. So that's just something heavily that I'm gonna have to bring Mario back on to talk about. Like, we're gonna have to have multiple podcasts with Mario so that way we can discuss this, because we already gotta talk about a lot.
I'm ready. Please, I'm ready.
Like, it's so much out there, you guys. Like, you have to understand taking initiative, research. If you don't do anything today, just look at, still the challenge for today is still looking at that OSI model. I'm going to keep reminding you guys, look at that OSI model, because there are job positions at every layer of that model. If you feel like you want to be more hands-on, you're better with cabling or something like that, physical layer is for you. If you feel like you want to be at the front end development, more so application layer can be for you. So going up that will really help you kind of find your path and find your interests, because you explore each part as you study that model.
Definitely.
So definitely look at that. And then the last thing for today, because we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, what is a motivating, insightful quote for those listening today?
My favorite quote of all time, it's by the greatest athlete of all time, Michael Jordan. Like I said, he very big inspiration of mine. Like, I love Michael Jordan. One of his quotes, he said during his Hall of Fame speech, like the last thing he said, limits like fears are often just an illusion. Like, I live by that every day.
Oh, say it one more time. Say it one more time.
Limits like fears are often just an illusion. Like, you can't be scared to do things, because like if you get scared, like it's going to limit you. So just like we've been saying, just take that initiative. Don't be afraid to chase your dreams, because if you get scared out here in this world, you're going to limit yourself and you're just going to be trapped inside a bubble. And you don't want that.
All right. Because one thing I want y'all to remember, time keeps moving forward. Time keeps moving forward. If you don't like where you're at now, but you're doing nothing to change it, you're going to be in that same exact spot 5 years from now. And I love using that. I love using that, like that phrase. It's like, do you want to be in the same spot that you're in 5 years from now? Obviously not.
Definitely not. Like, I hate like staying like somewhere too long because I get too comfortable, and you can't do that. You can't do that these days.
Right. Like keep on moving forward, keep moving up, and you're gonna get to where you want to be. Like a lot of people, they just want somebody, a lot of companies, from what I've learned, they want somebody that's willing to come in and learn.
Mhm.
Someone that's willing to come in, take that initiative and progress. They don't want someone who's just gonna come in and just work and go home. They don't want that.
Mhm.
So as long as you're motivated to do what you need to do, you're gonna get there. You're gonna
Definitely.
get there. So another thing, last thing, go ahead and let people know where they can find you at again. Let's
You can like I said, you guys can find me on Instagram, Rio Goat, or you can find me on LinkedIn, Mario Welch. And yeah, those are the two socials I mainly use right there. Professional, LinkedIn, of course. Personally, Instagram.
all right. And what was your Instagram again and your photography Instagram?
My photography Instagram is Shot by Rio. Like I said, I do portrait photography. I do professional headshots. Also, trying to get into weddings eventually. But yeah, photography, I really just picked that up like in the past year. I really love doing that.
So yeah, if you guys need that headshot, look, there are a lot of professional, looking LinkedIn profile photos. I need to get me one of them with Mario, but if you
Definitely.
want that professional headshot, definitely look at Shots by Rio.
Mhm.
So that is all we have today. Thank you guys for listening. Go ahead and subscribe and like and rate the podcast. Hopefully there's a lot more to come and we give you guys what you need. So welcome to the Be Insightful community and thank you for listening to Be Insightful in Technology.